Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're seeing my video for the first time, you are welcome. My name is Juliet. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make the lower part of this lovely dress. If you have not seen the first part, a link will be in the description box and also a link to the sleeve, which is going to be in a different video. So for the lower half of the skirt of the dress, I have my fabric here is folded into two. Is measuring the hip measurement divided by 4 plus 2 inches of allowance and 1.5 for zip. This part here now is the back piece. So we are marking 1.5 for zip all the way down to the hem of the dress. Using my ruler now, I'm connecting the points together. Next, I'm going to place the front piece on top of that zip line. The front piece is also the hip divided by 4 plus 2 inches of allowance, but we don't have zip allowance for the front. So we're placing the folded end of the front piece on that zip line. Next, I'm rolling a line here which is going to serve as our starting point. And then from there, I will put 17 inches, which is my half length measurement, and then from that 17 inches I will mark the hip line. For this person is 25 inches, so I mark 25 inches, and then the shoulder to knee measurement, which is 40 inches, and I marked it here. And then I'm going to be marking the length of the skirt, the dress, which is 59 inches, and also I'm adding half inch to each of these vertical measurements. So instead of 40, I mark 40 and a half, and instead of 25 for the hip line, I mark 25.5 inches. We're going to be using half inch to join to the upper part. So on the zip line, I went in by 0.75 to tighten the back. It has to match the front. We did that on the front piece too, and I slanted out to the hip line. So all our measurements now are going to be starting from the front piece. So I marked the half length round there divided by 4, and then I marked extra 2. Then the hip measurement here divided by 4, I marked, and then I marked another 2. On the knee line, I'm going to be subtracting 1.5 from the hip whatever you have on the hip line, you're going to subtract 1.5 from there and marked on the knee line and also on the hem. So if your hip divided by 4 is 10, remove 1.5 from that 10, and you will mark 8.5 on the knee line and also on the hem line. So I'm connecting all these points together. I also marked extra 2 inches for allowance all around, and we are going to be cutting that out now. So I also went ahead to extend the length of the dress to the zip side of the dress. So we're going to be notching that point, and you will see in a bit. I'm also cutting out this tightening at the back. I use 0.75, which is the same thing I use for the upper part. So if you used half inch, you'll have to use half inch for the skirt as well. So I'm opening up the zip side, and I'm going ahead to notch the length part of the dress both on the front and on this zip allowance side. You will see why later. So next we are going to be cutting the lining. So I have my lining here on fold for the front piece. I folded it up, and then I folded over the allowance where I notched. I folded it over like so. So I'm going to mark half inch before the folding. So where the folding stop, I'll go in by half inch and make a mark. I'll make a line. That's where our lining is going to stop. The remaining fold is going to cover up for that piece. Next we are going to cut just as it is, and then we'll cut out that part. Next now we will place the lining on the right side of the front piece on this lower part and go sew using half inch. Now for the back, we're also going to fold over the same allowances like so, and then mark half inch before the fold. Where the fold stops, you go down by half inch and then draw a line, and then you cut the rest of the lining the same as the main fabric. Please give this video a like. It's going to help my channel really well. Thank you so much. So I'm just notching the zip line, the side of the zip where the I should have notched only one part safe. I don't know why I notched both up and down. So now I'm going to place the lining on the right side. So on the lower part, we are going to go sew using 1/2 inch. Then pull it up so the lining and the main fabric are equal. Then you will sew the zip side. We're going to do the same thing for the other side of the back piece. Place the lining on the right side of the fabric. Sew the lower half, the hem part using 1/2 inch. Then make the lining and the main fabric equal and sew the zip line. After that, I turned out and I gave it a good press, and this is what we are seeing here. We're going to place the two back pieces right sides together and go mark the zip line. So from 17 inches again, I placed it, and I'm going to be marking the hip line, which is 25 inches, and then the knee line, so the shoulder to the knee measurement, which was 40, I'm going to come up by 2.5 inches. That is where our slit is going to sit. So when I sew, I'll backstitch where the zip is going to start and then where the slit will also start. After that, this is what I have here. I'm going ahead now to mark my body measurements. So I'm still placing the tape from 17 inches to mark the hip line plus 1/2 inch, then the knee point, the actual knee point plus 1/2 inch. And then from that zip line now, I am marking the half length round divided by 4. And then on the hip line, I'm marking the hip measurement divided by 4. Then I will subtract 1.5 inches from that hip divided by 4, and I will mark on the knee line, and I will also mark the same on the hem. I will use my ruler now to connect both points, and then I will turn to the opposite side and mark the same measurements. I will also pull my tape from 17 inches and mark the way I did for the front, the hip, the waist round the hip, and then subtract 1.5 from your hip divided by 4 and mark on the knee line and also the hem of the dress. After which you open it into half like so, and then confirm your measurement from one line to the other. It should be half of the hip measurement here and then half of the waist round here. And then we will go ahead and place the front and the back piece right sides facing each other, making sure that the midpoints are matching. So I first of all pin the midpoint of the front and the midpoint of the back, so they are together and in line before going to sew, because I heard someone saying that this thing is moving to the front, their back piece is flowing to the front side. If you don't make them equal, you have issues like that. So I'm using hemming gum now to iron, to glue the back piece, the side with the slit down. After which I will open it up, and also the upper part where the zip is going to sit. Next, we're going to go on now and add the upper piece to the lower piece. I open it by the zip side, and then I will sew right sides together using 1/2 inch. If you did everything correct, your side seams should match perfectly. After that, I added the zip, and this is it for the lower part of the dress. Stay tuned for the next video to see how I made the sleeves.